Welcome to The Mystery, the podcast where every story ends in murder and you get to solve the crime. Each week, you'll hear a brand new murder mystery short story. Your job? Pay close attention, gather the clues, and decide who you think did it. After the episode, text your guess to 270-883-1894. If you're right, you just might become part of the mystery yourself, with an episode written all about you. Think you can crack the case? Let's find out. This is The Mystery. Jacqueline is a 16-year-old high school girl from middle of nowhere, North Carolina, getting ready to spend her first summer away from home. She's been to summer camps before that lasted a week or two, but this camp was different. Camp DC is an 8-week summer camp hosted at a small college in Washington, D.C. that high school kids can go to learn and get the unique experience of living in our nation's capital. Jacqueline was one of 2 kids from her high school attending the prestigious camp. Jacob Foster was also in Jacqueline's class, but they didn't know each other very well. Jacob played basketball and went to dances with cheerleaders, whereas Jacqueline was the type to eat her lunch in the library and spend the weekends in her room reading. Jacqueline moved county schools after middle school and never made many new friends, so she was looking forward to meeting people this summer. The first person she met was her roommate, Molly. Molly is a blonde, outgoing country girl from Georgia. She plays soccer and is president of the Beta Club. Jacqueline had stalked her on social media before getting to camp and was worried about their personalities clashing. But after meeting her, it seemed like they might actually get along well. After all, Jacqueline knew that she needed to break out of her shell, and what better time to do that than summer in a new city with people she'd never met. On the second day of camp, Molly and Jacqueline went to the dining hall together to get breakfast. While they were eating cereal, Jacob came up to them and asked if he could join. Jacqueline was taken by surprise. She never would have thought that he'd be the one in need of friends. Yeah, sure, pull up a chair, Jacqueline stuttered. Molly gave her a side eye and pointed, whispering under her breath, "You know this guy?" "Yeah, kind of. We go to the same school," Jacqueline whispered back. Jacob grabbed a chair and sat it across the table from the girls. They made small talk about their dorms and being away from home, and when the inevitable moment of silence came, Jacqueline couldn't help herself but blurt out something in an attempt to alleviate the awkwardness. "You know, I had the biggest crush on you in middle school." Her face immediately went beet red, and Molly giggled an awkward laugh. But Jacob didn't seem to find her blunt comment alarming. "Oh, really? How about now?" he replied. Jacqueline paused, not prepared for that response. No, not anymore. I got over that a long time ago." Jacob nodded, and before he could say anything else, Jacqueline was standing up to go throw her bowl away. Molly followed quickly after her, laughing to herself. "Why would I say that?" Jacqueline moaned. "I was wondering the same thing. Though I don't blame you for liking him. He is cute." A couple of days later, a group of the students were going to a picnic at Lincoln Park. Molly got an invite from a girl she met on her pickleball team, and she extended that invite to Jacqueline. The girls took a bus to the park, and the first person Jacqueline noticed as they walked towards their group was Jacob. He was sitting on a blanket with a couple of other guys munching on Doritos. He spotted Molly and Jacqueline and waved them over. Jacqueline gave Molly an uncomfortable look, but Molly ignored it and pushed her towards them. "Hey guys," Molly shouted, and Jacqueline gave an awkward wave. "Hey, I didn't know you guys would be here," Jacob replied. "This is my roommate Josh and our friend Connor." "Connor, Josh, this is Molly and Jacqueline. Me and Jacqueline go to school together." Jacqueline didn't know how to react to Jacob's kindness. He had never been a mean guy, but she didn't expect him to be this nice either. The group hung out in the park for a couple of hours. About 30 Camp DC students ended up showing, and they played spike ball, card games, and talked about their plans for the rest of the summer. "My plan is to make as many connections as possible. My dad always has told me, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And if I'm going to have my face hung up in one of these buildings someday, it's all going to start here, this summer," Molly's friend from pickleball, Claire, declared. Jacqueline and Molly nodded their heads, impressed by her drive. Though it wasn't surprising, many of the kids were here for the same reason as Claire. Although Jacqueline did wonder to herself if she was the only one here who didn't want to become president one day. "That's great and all, but I mainly just didn't want to be stuck at home for another summer. I was so happy when I got accepted because that meant I wouldn't have to spend every day on a basketball court, Jacob confessed. This surprised Jacqueline. I thought you loved basketball. You're like our star player. I mean, yeah, I'm good at it, but I don't love it as much as my parents do. Coming here was my only chance at having a summer that didn't revolve around basketball, that didn't involve me quitting and also disappointing my parents. Jacqueline had to admit she felt a little bad for Jacob, but she also was comforted that maybe she wasn't the only one here as an escape rather than a resume builder. Later that evening, as Jacqueline and Molly were in their room getting ready for bed, they heard a soft knock at their door. Who could that possibly be? Molly mumbled through brushing her teeth. Jacqueline wondered the same thing as she walked towards the door. But when she opened it, she didn't even have time to get a word out before Jacob, Josh, and Connor were in their room. Hey, get ready, we're going out, Jacob whispered rather loudly. The door shut behind them. What? Molly and Jacqueline said simultaneously. It's the first week in here, we gotta get out and do something, Jacob urged. My older brother has an apartment nearby. He's out of town this weekend. We want to go over there and hang out, Connor added on. Jacqueline and Molly were intrigued, but confused. Dude, we were just about to go to bed, Molly responded. Jacqueline agreed. Yeah, and how would we even sneak out of this place? There's no way we wouldn't get caught by the janitor or someone. I'm not getting kicked out of here less than a week in. Jacqueline had always been a strict rule follower, and Jacob sensed that. Jacqueline, we're not in Ridgecrest anymore. Our parents and our friends' parents, they don't have their watchful eyes on us every second here. We already have a plan to get out and get back in without anyone seeing. Come on, you guys don't even have your pajamas on yet. Molly gave Jacqueline a side eye and shrugged her shoulders. Within a few minutes, the group was out the door. But by the next morning, the group would not ever be the same. Secrets and fear would cloud over them for the rest of the summer. One bad decision might just mean a lifetime of regret and guilt. Thanks for listening to The Mystery. Like and follow our podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Facebook and let us know who you think did it by texting your guess to 270-883-1894. If you guess right, you just might get your own episode. See you next week.